फोकस है एक उस स्लाइड का।
Good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Okay, so for tomorrow, we have decided and we have figured out 2 times for you. You can see it in your dashboard also, which is 9 and 1. So we'll go for one session, 9 a.m. to 12:30, and we'll then take, or rather 9 to 12, we can keep it as one. 9 and 1, yeah. 9 to 12 we can keep as one session, and then we can have a 1 hour break, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. We'll then have the second session. You can see it in your dashboard. It would have been placed for tomorrow. Now, one thing is very clear: if you can't attend it, no issues. You have the recording. So this is A, this is B. It would be written medieval 8 and art and culture 1. So it's for weekend batch. No, it is for you. Weekend batch, I am not. This is the 2 days which I lost. I'm making it up by taking these 2 classes. So 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. 2 sessions, medieval and art and culture. Medieval and art and culture. So tomorrow we meet 2 times. Sir, at a time, 1 day is too heavy long. I take weekend batch. You have to listen. I have to teach from 10 to 8. So for me, it's not a problem. And you can also sit there, and if I can speak for 7.5 hours, you can listen for 7.5 hours for sure. No, nothing on Sunday. I'm trying to keep Sunday open for you. So we'll just use one class itself and we'll do it. So this is for tomorrow. So don't tell me heavy हो जाएगा, पता है heavy हो जाएगा, मेरे लिए ही heavy है. So don't do that. So don't say that हमसे bed, you can't sit for 7 hours. Don't say that. So weekend batch students do it every time, and that is 10 to 8, 10 to 8. They do it every time. So 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. first session, and thereafter 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. you will have the second session. I will start something today. We'll more or less finish everything what's need to be finished with regards to Mughal India. Political history will be finished today for sure. And we'll see what we can cover vis-a-vis art and culture. Most probably Bhakti Sufi will be done in that regard. So listening is easy, but mind is not easy. Very good, very good. Pranayam karenge baith ke. Don't worry about that. Okay. See, if you are part of the weekend batch, then don't attend this. Sessions are recorded. The weekend batch remains. This is over and above what you already have. So this is, see, this is not a negotiation. I'm telling you that there are 2 sessions for tomorrow, 9 to 12, 1 to 4. Can't listen, can't sit, watch the recording then. Noted? What is the date? अरे आज 5 है तो कल 6 होगा, 6th. Tomorrow means tomorrow. Please make it 6 to 12. Already done. It is showing on dashboard. Very good. I told you it will show in the dashboard. See, again, I'm not asking you, I'm not seeking your opinion here. I'm not doing any of these things. I'm just saying 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and 1 to 4. Simple. Tomorrow, I will see you at 9 and we'll discuss what we have to discuss. End of story. Okay. Noted? Can I move forward? If you are a weekend batch, you do weekend, you watch the recording later. Play Russian roulette, whatever you like, sit there. Okay. Now, Sunday, I'm not taking from away from you because from Monday again, you will be having evening batch. So I'm taking one day, everything I will take. Okay. Because Google says Babar first to use gunpowder. हाँ तो same used gunpowder and effectively used gunpowder, same thing. He did not introduce gunpowder, he only used gunpowder for the first time. That's a right statement. Okay. संडे को सेम रूटीन होता तो बेटर होता, बहुत कुछ बेटर होता. Okay. First one to use in a way, yeah. Okay. Yesterday we discussed the concept of Zapti and Dahsala. Zapti and Dahsala. And Zapti Dahsala basically is a important way of revenue, generation. Now, other than Zapti Dahsala, there are also other means to do it. We yesterday had this conversation, but I only told you out of the 4 available, only one, which is Zapti Dahsala, an innovation of Todermal and Akbar together. Now, if you are a farmer in the Mughal Empire, you don't have 1 but 4 options. Yesterday was discussing about the political history and one aspect of the administration, which is Todermal Bandobast Dahsala system, improving on what Shesha Suri already had. The concept is everybody is ready. Still people are joining in. I don't know what is the issue. 13 minutes into class, still people are joining in. I will assume that you understand what I'm saying. after 10 to 15 minutes. First Panipat was did with use. Again, you are getting confused yourself. First Panipat war, when did they use gunpowder against Ibrahim? In what manner? Chandrasekhar, wake up, wake up, and wake up. Artillery is based on gunpowder, and I'm not going to tell you the whole story again. I don't know where some of you are. When artillery, cannon, barood, gunpowder is used into that. This much basic understanding has to be there, and we already discussed it. So, first Battle of Panipat, artillery is based on gunpowder. Some of you act like Americans. Barood kya hota hai? I've never seen a cannon in my life. Come on. It should not be confusing. If you're confused, don't act like you're never seen what is India. कि अच्छा बारूद के ऐसे डालते हैं. You know how barood used. You use gunpowder every year in Diwali. Diwali, what you use is actually very small amounts of gunpowder along with other chemicals. Leave it. Okay. Yeah, toy guns and all also we use small gunpowder. Yes. Okay. Now, if you are a farmer, if you are a farmer in the Mughal Empire, or a peasant, whatever you want to call him, see, the Amin comes to you. The Amin comes to you. Who is an Amin? Who is an Amin? Amin is who? They were using gunpowder in first Battle of Panipat. Then why did they rebel in 1857? There's so much to unpack there. I have no idea what to say to you. You are linking gunpowder with 1857. Very good. Tax assessor. Very good. I mean, Pooja, have you done Modern India? Have you done a Modern India? Still, you're asking me this question. Chalo, very good. If somebody has the patience to write an answer for that, please write it and I'll make it public. Okay. Gunpowder and 1857 have no connection. Okay. Amin is a tax assessor. Is a tax assessor. And as a tax assessor, when he meets the farmer, he gives him 4 options. He says what type of taxation regime you want to go into. What type of taxation regime you want to go into. There were 4 options available to the farmer. There were 4 options available to the farmer. The first one was the one which Akbar and Todermal themselves developed, which is called Zabti or Dhasala system. If he chooses Zabti and Dhasala, the Amin then communicates to the Amil that this person has opted for Zabti Dhasala. I am doing one thing. I will measure your land, and based on the formula of 1/3 of produce into Ray, 10-year average, 10-year average, we will be able to tell you how much you owe us. After the land, after you have harvested, so you will pay tax, pay tax post harvest. You will pay tax post harvest. Now, this is a good system if you have a good amount of land. But other than that, there is one which is called Galla Bakshi, Batai, and Nasak. If the present wants it, he can choose for these three also. Galla Bakshi, Khed Batai, Batai and Nasak. In the sense that you may not want to go through the whole hassle of Zapti. Now, what does Galla Bakshi mean? See, Galla Bakshi, if Amin is told, is asking a farmer, and if the farmer says, I want to choose Galla Bakshi or Khet Batai, if you are choosing Galla Bakshi or Khet Batai, the Amin will, what he will say, okay. He says, this is your land. You will say, yes, this is my land. He will say that I demarcate this portion of the land as the states. And you now grow your basic wheat crop, whatever you want to do. And I will not do anything right now. The Amil will come. He will get this cut, take it to the market and sell it off for revenue. Basically, as Galla Bakshi means Khet Batai, the Khet, which is the farmland, is baat diya, basically divided. That I am a very small farmer. I'm a very weak farmer. If I'm a very weak and small farmer, I don't have the resources to go to the market, sell it, get revenue, get cash, and give it to the Amil. Rather, I said, I'm a very small farmer. You take whatever you want to take. You just take in produce. Don't take in cash. So when it was about produce, the Amil would then come and say, where did the Amin mark? So he will say that much area Amin said is yours. Go cut it. He will get it cut and he will sell it in the market. Now here, who is at a disadvantage? The state or the farmer? Who is at a disadvantage? State or the farmer? It is the state. There are two reasons for that. If I'm a very smart farmer, I will water more to the areas which are mine, and I will put less water in the area which the Amin has given. So basically, I can manipulate the output of my area and manipulate the output of the state's area. So here the risk is more with the state. So Galla Bakshi is when it is the division of the standing crop as decided before sowing. As decided before sowing. Which means I have already divided the land before sowing, and here tax is in produce, and the amil will sell and get the tax in cash. Now here the risk is more on the state. So the state developed a new system, or had a new system, in which it was better for the state and the risk was equal. And now that is called batai. And this happens in India till today. Till today, batai happens. Now he goes to the farmer and the farmer says, batai, I want to choose batai. In batai, what happens is, it is not the standing crop which is divided. Rather, when the crop has been cut and it is on the threshing floor, now the amil will come. And say 1/3 is mine. 1/3 is mine, because that is states. So he will take the 2 best stacks and then go to the market and sell it. He gets in cash. So the difference between batai and khet batai is, it is the division of the crop on the threshing floor and here risk is equal for state and farmer, because the farmer cannot manipulate the land because he does not know which stack the state will take. The simple point is, khet batai, the farmer can water or give more fertilizer, give more manure, give more pesticides in his own area, and let the state's area basically rot, and then say that that was the basic output. Batai, that cannot be done, because batai, the state will come, best 3 to 4 stacks of wheat and rice will be taken. So basically, batai, khet batai are for poor farmers. Division of harvested crop, division of standing crop. These are for poor farmers. A farmer who does not have the resource to go to the market. Do we understand Zapti, Khet Batai, Batai? Do we understand this? Yes, sir. If farmer wants to change, no. Once he has decided Amil, once he has been told that it is khed batai, Amil will automatically come. Are we? But corruption fear always strike in the mind of the system. That is true for today also. With everything you have, corruption happens. So something corruption is not specific to medieval India. Okay. Zapti is cash. This is cash. This is produce. And this is also produce. Are we clear about these three things? Please have to tell me, because then I move forward and discuss Nasak, and then we can close this area. Okay. Now, now the last one is called Nasak. And Nasak is very straightforward. Whatever I paid in cash last year, just take the same. Basically, in Nasak, you don't want to go through the scrutiny of the state. How much land, this land, that land. What type of farmer would basically want Nasak? Tell me, please. What type of farmer would basically like Nasak? A farmer who has additional income. He says, you want 1,000 rupees? I give you 1,000 rupees. Now, don't ask me where this 1,000 rupees came from. So basically, if I'm a farmer who has good land, I have a little bit of farm stock also, animal husbandry is there, everything is happening. If all of this is happening, then I would not want the state to always come do Zapti Desala. No, you want 1,000 rupees, I will give you 1,000 rupees. Take it, leave it. So Nasak is basically the concept of rough calculation of amount payable by the peasant on the basis of what he has been paying in the past. He says all this measurement and all, don't do it. So basically, in during, and this is also in cash. This is also in cash. So that 2 in cash, 2 in produce. So basically, when you are a farmer, and today farmers have less options. If you are a farmer in Mughal India, you have 4 options to give revenue. 2 in produce, 2 in cash. 1, you can pay in cash through proper system of Zapti. 1 through Nasak, which is take whatever I gave you last year. 2 in produce. 1 is Galla Bakshi, other one is Batai. Galla Bakshi. If you choose Batai last year, then how will you choose for Nasak? You can't. Why are you making it into a CSAT question? No, you can't. If there's nothing as a trail for cash, then you can't do that. Simple point, sir. All these three systems, pata nahi what you've written, but whom, by, I don't know what you've written. Simple point is that these are the available options according to your own capacity. Khed batai is standing crop is there. Cut the standing crop and give it to the Amil. Batai is, if you've cut the crop, you kept it on the threshing floor. Now there's a division. Are we clear about this? Are we clear about revenue administration? How amount in Nasak is calculated? What you gave last year, Amil and Amin already have accounts for that. Okay. Now, we have covered revenue administration. And now we move to the second part of the story. After looking at these words. Now, during the Mughal period, these words were used to designate land. Interestingly, these are the words which we till today use, which is Pulaj, Parti, Chanchar, Banjar, and Takavi was a loan which was given by the state to the peasant if he wants it. So Polaj is a land which is very fertile in cultivation. Parti till today used. land left for fallow, so that the fertility comes back. Chanchar, which is land left fallow for 2 to 3 years, and Banjar if it has not been cultivated for more than 3 years. At the same point of time, we know Khalisa, Jagir, and Inam grant were ones which were given to religious persons. Now, this Jagir word I have to tell you and Khalisa word I have to tell you, which is basically related to the Mansabdari system. And simple point is, since yesterday we've done political history, we've done the revenue administration, Zapti Dasala, Galla Bakshi, Batai, and Nasak. If there's a question with regards to statement-based question on this, you are capable of answering it. Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. One second. One second. One second. One second. When Marathas is discussed after Mughals. Okay. Now, Todamal Bandobast said for 10 years, that means farmer will going to pay yearly or 10-year once. Scientist. Chandrasekhar is asking us, I'll make it public to everybody. He's asking us Todamal Bandobast means Dasala system. Dasala means 10 years. So the farmer will pay yearly or he will pay once every 10 years. Every year. Calculation is done for 10 years to bring out the average. But it is not related to in any way or form related to the concept of once 10 year. That is literally dumb. If you are a state, if you're a king and you take revenue only once 10 years, then obviously your empire will collapse, because what will you do for the first, when will the revenue come from? So Chandrasekhar, come on. Again, these questions seem to look like that you're not connected to India. Do I give income tax once 10 years? Or do your parents give income tax once 10 years? No. This is basic logic, that why would you take it 10 years? So, okay. No, but what is the need to take 10-year average? You're asking me to repeat the whole of Japti, which again makes no sense. Now, when it comes to watch the video, Chandrasekhar, yesterday video, first that discussion seat. You are doing it because you don't want to do revenue assessment every year. So taking 10-year average so that it's basically representative of the period of the produce and price. And then you can keep it stable for 2, 3, 4 years and then later revise it if needed. 10-year average they're taking because it's easier for the state and the people both. Okay. Now, when we talk about the agrarian landscape, this is the last discussion we have. With regards to revenue and land before we go to Mansabdari. The concept is very simple. Very simple, which is that other than having Galla Bakshi, Khet Batai, which is the same thing, Batai, Zabti, these are revenue assessments. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, There are also social categories. Now, what are these social categories is very, very important to understand. And the idea is very simple and straightforward, wherein the concept is you have the big zamindars. There are three types of people who can own land: zamindars, khudkasht, and pahikasht. Zamindars basically are the ones who own a lot of land and could employ and could have under them multiple tenants or agricultural labor which produce for the zamindar. So now please don't be an American or a French and ask me, no, I don't understand this. Because zamindars exist till today in India. It is a social category. Zamindars own their own land, but this land could be in hundreds of acres, thousands of acres. And one person obviously cannot produce land or cannot produce, or not even one family can farm on thousands of acres. So they employ people to work on it. Do we understand who are zamindars? Okay, now, in a way, zamindars are giving tax to the state, and zamindars can also extract revenue or produce from their tenants. But whilst doing that, do the zamindars become officials of the state? No. So can I say very easily, zamindars have no revenue collecting powers but extract revenue from tenants as revenue collecting rights. Can I say this? That they don't have power to collect revenue. They are just exercising their right over that land to collect revenue and then give it to the state. But in no way, the state has not delegated any responsibility. Rather, they are just one revenue extraction social category. Am I making sense? I'm emphasizing this because all of you are extremely smart. And you are so smart that what you will do is that you will mix permanent settlement into this beautifully. Must. You will make a beautiful khichdi in which you will bring Mughal India and revenue administration of the British together. And I'm writing in different languages, in different words, the same thing, which is zamindars are not agents of revenue extraction. Just because they take revenue out of a tenant, he does not become an official. He is a social category who exists till today, and obviously they are hereditary because you own land, and owning land is hereditary. And very simply, there is no rocket science here. Simple point, zamindar is a social category, can have multiple tenants under him. He could be collecting tax from the tenants, but the obligation to the state remains the same. Zamindar is one social category, no official, and he owns the land as a hereditary right. So the Amin will go and talk to the zamindar, and the Amil will collect from the zamindar. Zamindar in himself is not the Amin or the Amil. Are we clear about this? Then only I talk about khud kasht and pai kasht. Are we 110% clear about this? Yes, sir. Very good, sir. Now, pahi kasht and khud kasht. Now, did he collect? Why did he going to collect a tax? Because he's the owner of the land. Yes. Okay. Now, this is village A. Yes, Yashwant. Yes. This is village B. Now, there's a farmer here. There are two farmers, X and Y. X house is here and his land is also here. However, Y lives here, but the land he cultivates is in a different village. He has to travel to this village. There's a land he cultivates. So in a way, A residence, no, not A, but X. Residence and land are in same village. This is called khud kasht. A migratory farmer is called a pahi kasht. Residence and land are in different places. But what is common to khud kasht, pahi kasht and zamindar is all own their own land. Are we clear about this? Difference between khud kasht and pahi kasht. Yes. So let's read it out also. Zamindars were a social category, but heterogeneous. Could be autonomous, could be chieftains, could be big, could be small, could be primary, and were divided along different lines also. But the real differentiation started in the way there is a Rayyat. Rayyat means peasant. Here you have a khud kasht and you have the pahi kasht. The peasant proprietor, termed as khud kasht, who used to have his own land, is called khud kasht. Then you have pahis who are migratory cultivators. But other than that, there are also two more terms, Muzarain and मजूर और हाली. मजूर और हाली. Now see, simple, very simple. जमींदार, खुदकश्त, पाहीकश्त, all own land. However, मजूर and or हाली and muzarain, they do not own land. So basically they are agricultural. They're agricultural labor. They're agricultural labor. Now, even more important, then what is the difference between these two? Majur Hali, as it says here, see, those cultivators who did not own land of their own are called muzrain. Muzrains are a category of cultivators privileged less than khudkasht, occasionally dependent on village money lenders for bullock, plows, and seeds. On the other hand, you have khudkasht, pahi, muzrain. Another section was hali or majur. The difference between the two is that muzrain and hali. Muzrain does not own his own equipment or what we call as tools of production, while on the other hand Majur Hali owns the tools of production. Wherein the simple point is you have one who brings his own equipment. He does not bring his equipment. Are we clear about this? Zamindar, Khudkash, Paikash, Majur and Muzrain. Are we clear about this? Yes? Okay. Does equipment include plow? Yes, plow, cattle, whatever he can bring. Now, here I give you a small breather, because now what I start is Mansabdari. It's a long discussion and it's important discussion. I give you a breather, 10 minutes, and then we start again. Acceptable? Okay. So we come back at 6:05 and then we take it forward. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Can we start Mansabdari? Very important discussion, Mansabdari. Yes? Perfect. Okay. Now, when we talk about something called Mansabdari, we have to understand something. Let's keep it simple. Now, tell me one thing. I'm writing certain things. You tell me what it is. You have district magistrate, then additional secretary. Thereafter, we have, for example, joint secretary, then secretary, for example, finance secretary, and then you have cabinet secretary. What have I written here? What is this basically? What are these? This is an administrative hierarchy, and these are actually ranks. Very good. These are ranks, and this is an administrative hierarchy. Beautiful. Very good. now at a certain hierarchy you get a salary also. So for example, salary, you have 1,10,000, 1,20,000, 1,50,000, 1,80,000, 2 lakhs. So you get a salary according to your rank, and therefore this is basically called an administrative hierarchy. It's called an administrative hierarchy. Now, Akbar also wanted a certain system under which he could give ranks. So the word he uses is mansab. Mansab means rank or ranking system. And therefore the word mansabdari. The word mansabdari. Now initially there was only one rank, mansab, but later it became two. So we'll understand the two understanding. Now under mansabdari system, there is something called zat. Zat. The word zat comes from izzat. Izzat, zat. And what Akbar used to do, what the Mughals used to do, they didn't give these type of ranks which are based on, for example, words. They used to give numerical ranks. 100, 200, 300, rather not 300, 500, 1000, 2000, 5000. Now, does this number signify anything other than just a numerical order? And the answer to that question is no. It is just that it shows your position. You are 100, 200, 500, 1000, 2000, 5000. So if Akbar calls me and he says, who you are? Who are you? Who are you? So I say, I am Abhishek, 5000 izzat. So Akbar gets to know, okay, he's an important official because 5000 izzat. He calls another person and says, what is your rank? He says, 1000 izzat, 1000 zat. So he believes, okay, if it is 1000 zat, then that ways it is quite important, but lower than or greater than me. That person is lower than or greater than me. He's lower than me because I am at 5000, he is at 2000. So basically, there is a every officer in the Mughal administration, every officer in the Mughal administration had a certain numerical rank, had a certain numerical rank, and that numerical rank is basically how we today call district magistrate at this that same way 100 200 500 1000 2000 5000, and at every zat you were liable for a certain salary. So maybe the 100 zat person gets, for example, 1000 rupees or rupiah. Thereafter, rupiah. Thereafter, 2000 gets 2000. He gets 5000. He gets 10,000. He gets 20,000 rupiah. And he gets 50,000 rupiah. How they got recruited is on merit or nobility. Obviously, nobility, not merit. There's no UPSC examination. Basically, what I've written on the left hand side of the screen and on what I've written on the right hand side of the screen are exactly the same thing. The difference is that one is based on a hierarchy which is given by designation, and here it is a numerical rank. So simple point is Mansabdari system initially was based on the concept of Zat. Was ranking only done in the way you have written? Yes. No, it is an example, but it was mostly numerical rank. 5,000, 7,000 was a very big rank. 100, 100, 1,000, 100, 1,500 was a standard rank. Simple point is in the Mansabdari system, there's a lot of components here. Please pay attention. Mansabdari system, in the Mansabdari system, you have one rank which is called Zat rank. Zat is a numerical rank which decides your salary. So if I have written 5,000 Zat, 1,000 Zat, this number has no meaning other than just telling you they are in a hierarchy. It only decides your salary, but this number is meaningless other than just being in a number scale. Do we understand this? Do we understand this? Okay, very good. Now, Akbar was not, it's just a position, yes. Is there only zeros like 2, 4, 4, 5? Why would you make it so complicated? It is mostly integers. Zat only decides your salary. Akbar was not dumb that he would make it 2,654. Then 3,745. That makes no sense. Think of it. Why would you make it so complicated? So it's not that, it's very simply integers. Now, we understand Zat, yes or no? Please tell me, because then I add another component to it. Yes? Now, okay. Now, Akbar did not just want to tell you your salary, but he wanted some military support from you also. So, what Akbar did was, he did not give one rank, but he gave two ranks. One is called Zat, the other one is called Sawar. The other one is called Sawar. Zat decides your salary, Savar rank tells you your military obligation. Now, basically, they used to give a rank something like this. एक हजार zat. 1000 would for 500 would be high, quite high. Let's make it 3000 zat, 500 savar. This tells you your salary, and this tells you that you should have 500 horses and 500 soldiers. One savar equals to one horse, one man. Equals to one horse, one man. 3000 zat, 500 savar. This number, does it have significance or no significance? It has significance because this is numerically important. Zat was always greater than equal to savar. Savar rank can never be higher than zat. Now you will ask me, who pays them? This salary which you are paying, you have to pay these 500 soldiers and 500 horses out of it. Now, if I had to write an equivalent today, I could have easily written it like this. Principal Secretary, 100 servants. Basically, Government of India has said that as a Principal Secretary, you get 1,50,000 rupees, and in that you also have to maintain 1,100 servants, and the pay of these servants come out of this. Now, savar means cavalry. Savar jo बैठता है, savar means cavalry. Now tell me one thing. There is 1%, 1000 zat. A. There's B, 1000 zat, 100 savar. C, 2000 zat, 300 savar. Now between A and B, should they have equal salary? Should they have equal salary? No. Because here, no obligation. Here, 100 obligation. So if I am paying this person, for example, 1000 rupees, I should pay this person 3000 rupees. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. Now, B should get or C should get more salary than B or less salary than B. More, because the military obligation is higher. So now what I'm trying to tell you here is a very simple concept. Mansabdari system was the ranking system of the Mughal Empire, in which two ranks could be given. One, Zat, other Savar. There could be an officer which only has Zat rank. There could be an officer who has Zat plus Savar. Zat decides your salary. Savar decides your cavalry responsibility. Was there a military obligation in Ikta and Nayankara? Yes. Yes. Both in Ikta and Nayankara, military obligation was there. Have a small contingent of army. But then what is the difference between Mansabdari and Ikta and Nayankara? What is the difference? Tell me. You know that already. Logically use that idea. The difference is the exact number is fixed in Mansabdari. The exact number is not fixed in Ikta or Nayankara. Try to understand this point. Listen to me. Military obligation is there in Ikta also, Nayankara also, Mansabdari also. But in Ikta and Nayankara, military obligation was never specified. By writing the Savar rank, the military obligation is very well defined. Are we clear? Because then I complicate more. Then I complicate even more. Is there any proportionality? No. It's all based on Wazir and Emperor's understanding. Can we complicate it more? I will make it comprehensive. I have to add another component to it. Okay. Now, if you are a Mansabdar, you could be two types. Zat plus Savar. You could only be Zat. Correct, incorrect? Correct, incorrect. I am taking you on board because you need to understand the logic. If you understand the logic, you will never forget it. Correct. Perfect. Now I can pay either in cash or in land grant. In the sense, I can pay he has to be paid 10,000 rupees. I can pay it in cash. But I also have an option, which is to go for a land grant, which is basically called a Jagir. Is basically called a Jagir. And now comes this subsidiary concept within Mansabdari. The whole empire. Now, here, if you understand Ikta, you will never forget this. The whole empire was divided into two parts. Khalisa, which is crown land, revenue goes straight to the central treasury. Akbar started Mansabdari, yes. And then you have what is called pay baki. Bhai, kya hai baki? Pay baki. Whatever is baki out of Khalisa, baki means left. Whatever is baki is pay baki. In pay baki, Jagirs are allocated to Mansabdars in lieu of their service, and they have following responsibilities. General administration, revenue administration, law and order. If Savar rank is there, maintain it, and excess revenue to center. non-hereditary, non-permanent, and transferable. Between Ikta and Mansabdari, what is the main difference? Between Ikta and Mansabdari, what is the main difference? Savar. Now, can I say, therefore, Savar means military responsibility is specified. Now, if I want, can I say that every Jagirdar is a Mansabdar, but not every Mansabdar is a Jagirdar? Am I right? Am I right? If I'm right, can I bring both the concepts together? What I taught you in the beginning and what I've taught you right now on one slide. And then we read this. Okay. Now, see, Mansabdari system, Mansabdar, Savar rank exists only for Zat. Only if you have Zat rank, then only Savar can be there. Na? If you are a Mansabdar, you can be two types. You could be either three types. With three types. You could have Zat plus Savar. You could have only Zat. No, we keep it to two only. Two types. Zat or Savar. Zat and Savar. The difference is military obligation is there. No military obligation. Just this was given to, for example, Abul Fazal. Abul Fazal is a poet. He does not need to have a military obligation. No military obligation. Now, very interestingly, they can be paid in two ways. Can be paid in cash, then you remain a Mansabdar, and you could, or you could be, or rather be right, can be paid in Jagir. Can be paid in Jagir. If you are paid in Jagir, you become a Jagirdar, Mansabdar. And under that, you will get land. Revenue is equal to your salary. Military obligation is specified. Law and order, general and revenue administration. And there is one part of the is called Khalisa, one part of the empire which is totally outside this system. No Jagirs allocated here. No Jagirs allocated here. Does this make sense? If it makes sense, I read it out to you, because then I tell you what Jahangir and Shah Jahan did to it. What if the land income of Jagirdar is higher than the salary paid? Then he have to send to excess revenue. He'll have to send excess revenue, send to center, send to central treasury. That is something which I presume. That means it is all about medium of payment and ZAT. Yes, ZAT decides what is your rank and your salary, and then the median of payment resides if you are going to be a Mansabdar or going to be a Mansabdar Jagirdar. Then only paid in Jagir, then only this responsibility was given to Jagirdar. When only paid in Jagir, no. You could be a person who has no military obligation but also has a Jagir. If you're paid in cash, you don't have administrative responsibilities. Again, that is not given. You could be paid everything in cash, but you also have a Savar rank. Who takes for Kharisa land? There are officers for that. Can I read this out to you? Maybe it will make more sense. Okay. See, Mansabdari is a tool of consolidation. The term Mansab refers to a person who holds a Mansabdari means a person who holds a Mansab. And it was a grading system used by the Mughals to fix rank, salary, military responsibility. Rank and salary were determined by a numerical value, Zat. The lowest was 10, highest could be 5,000, 7,000 was given to Man Singh. At first, there was only one rank, Mansab. From the 14th year, the ranks were divided to Zat and Savar, where the military responsibility required by him to maintain with a specific number of Savars or cavalrymen. Therefore, Zat means personal, fix the personal status of the person and the salary due to him. Savar indicates number of cavalrymen a person is required to maintain. The Chehra system, which is not something new, Alauddin Khilji used it. This was to make these two, Dag and Chehra. This is for horse, this is for soldier. This is to check the quality of soldiers and horses. Basically, they used to keep everything together, and everything was documented. Explain the statement how every Jagirdar is a Mansabdar, not every Mansabdar is a Jagirdar. If you are a Mansabdar, then only you can get a Jagir. But if you are a Mansabdar, you can automatically not be paid in land grant. So this statement which I wrote here, not every Mansabdar is a Jagirdar. If you are a Jagirdar, you are already a Mansabdar. But if you're a Mansabdar, you can just remain a Mansabdar also. Every Jagirdar has Savars? No, that is not true. I'm telling you that you could either be fully paid in cash or could be paid in, a person with no military obligation could also be paid in Jagir. Look at the flow chart. There's a logic to the flow chart. It is written Mansab is a military responsibility. Then what Zat without Savar used to do? Where does it say it is without military responsibility? It says Zat is personal status, Savar is cavalryman. Mansabdari system later meant that military responsibility. It is not obligated. It is not obligated. There could be, for example, Abul Fazl was 1500 Zat. He did not have a military responsibility. Don't complicate it beyond what you understand. Now, in Akbar's reign, Jagirs were carefully assessed so that their revenue was equal to the salary of the Mansabdar. By Aurangzeb's reigns, that was not true. A person holding a rank below 500 Zat was called a Mansabdar. 500 to 2500 was called Amir, and 2500 and above was called Amir Umda. So basically, if Akbar calls me and then says, "Who are you?" I'll say, "I'm an Amir Umda." He knows that I'm a very good, very high ranking personality. Now, if you understand Zat Savar and you understand this, if you really understand this, truly understand this, I want to discuss what Jahangir and Shah Jahan did to it. Only Zat can be Jagirdar, then he has obligation of. And if you are not part of the bureaucracy, why did every Indian have a Zat rank? Most of you are not understanding one thing. Is every Indian an IAS officer? Then until unless you do not have a Zat, why would you be given a Jagir? this is where I sometimes I don't understand where the logic is thrown out of the window itself. You're paid in cash, you're a mansabdar. Can and cannot have a military responsibility. You're paid in Jagir, you're a Jagirdar mansabdar. Could have or could not have military responsibility. Is this difficult to understand? If not, I would like to really complicate it. Lowest 10 zat is a normal person. But if you want to call a babu or a peon a normal person, then sure. You are still part of the administration. Zat is for what? To determine your salary. Sawar is nothing but literally means how many people you need to have. Complex nahi hai, bana rahe ho. You tell me, is this okay or not? Vivek, you're doing it for the 5th time. I know every time you ask me the same question. So either the problem is in me or in you. And I think it is in you. So it's not complex. Can we move on and this think about something else? Because this is not the last of it. Do you understand? See, nobody is going to ask you to make this system work or not even going to ask you how it works. They're just going to say, Zat Sawar, what it implies. Statement-based questions will come. I have given you actually how the system works. Can be paid in cash, can be paid in Jagir. Khalisa and Jagirdari system, Baki is important. Are we clear? Because then I talk about Jahangir and Shah Jahan and end this discussion. I want everybody's yes, then we move forward. Be it a mansabdar only or be it a Jagirdar. Mansabdar is not necessary to have military responsibility. No. Military responsibility is only when Akbar gives you Sawar. Okay, now pay attention. Under Akbar, what was given? 5,000 zat, 3,000 Sawar. This means how many horses are there? How many horses are there? 3,000. How many men are there? Again 3,000. Very good. Right? I don't know why you're writing 4,000, but I don't know what is the 4,000. Okay, perfect. Now, under Jahangir and Shah Jahan, they had to actually fight quite a lot in the Deccan sector. So they had to find more particular zat without. Again, Rituja, I've already discussed it. If you have military responsibility, you're paid more. Same zat, but with military responsibility, you get more, obviously. Now they are fighting. It's not just. It is just. If you only have zat, you get less. If you have zat and sawar, you get more. That's a standard system. Now, Jahangir, Shah Jahan are constantly fighting in the Deccan sector. They want to extract more out of the same Mansabdar Jagirdar than what Akbar was extracting. So what Jahangir did and what even Shah Jahan took forward, and don't talk about justness, how will they do it? I don't care. Akbar also did not care. Jahangir did not care. Shah Jahan did not care. What they did was, they did this. 5,000 zat, 3,000 sawar, but they gave a third rank. 1,001 अस्पा, 1,002 अस्पा, 1,003 अस्पा. Basically, what they've done is they're saying, out of this 3,000 sawar, there should be 1,000 men with 1,000 horses, 1:1. There should be 1,000 men with 2,000 horses, 1:2. And there should be 1,000 men with 3,000 horses, 1:3. Total number of men is how much? 3,000. How many horses are there? 6,000. and horses are an asset. Horses are an asset. I'll give you a modern day equivalence of this. Think of it. Aspa means horse. Ashva, aspa. Now think of it like this. Think of it like this very simply. I say cabinet secretary, 100 servants, 20 drivers, 30 cooks, 50 gardeners. This is exactly the same as 5,000 zat, 1,000 sawar, 500 एक अस्पा, 302 अस्पा, 200 ती अस्पा. Same pay, yes. That is the way they are extracting more. How many men are there? How many men are there? अरे मैथ्स करो यार. 500 plus 300 plus 200 or already rated. How many horses are there? How many horses are there? Here there are 500. Here there is 300 into 2. Here there is 200 into 3. So how much is this? 600. This is 600. So total becomes how much? 1700. Good. 1700. 1700, 1200. Yeah. 1700. This is what is said as Shah Jahan Jahangir have adding another subdivision, Duashpa Shiaspa, troopers with 2 or 3 asses, implied a Mansabdar holding a rank had to maintain and was paid double the quota of troopers indicated in his Savar rank. Ironically, you tell me, will number of men ever exceed the Savar rank? No. But the horses will exceed. I will just do this basic practice with you and we can then take a break because I can see you are overheating. Ek aspa means Amit. I don't know if you don't know Hindi. Ek, do, teen, चार पाँच छः सात आठ नौ 10 11 12 13. So एक दो तीन, एक अस्पा, दो अस्पा, ती अस्पा. Get it? Come on. Aspa, ashva, asp. Wait. How many horse? How many men? 1,000. How many men? How many horse? 2 horses maintained by 1 single savar. Yes. Men 1,000. Horses 1,500. Very good. 500 here. 1,000 here. Very good. How many men? How many horses? Men will always remain the same. Nobody is going to ask you this, but are you now clear about this? because then I give you a break. Done? Great. So I see you at, take it as 57.5, and we'll talk about Rajput and religious policy. We're finally out of the administrative sector. I'll take you to this slide where you can understand this better. Yeah. Okay, see you. Aspa means horse. Ek, do, teen. Savar means 1+1. One horse, one savar. One savar equals to one horse and one cavalryman. Okay. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay. Lots of break disrupt the flow. Good observation. Very good. Okay. Well, you don't understand the concept of break if you're writing that. No issues. कोई बात नहीं. We have now covered political history, we've covered administration, both Mansabdari and revenue. We've understood the words Khalisa, we've understood the word Pebaki, Jama Hasil, Amin Amil, Kanungo, Karori, all these words. And basically, we've covered the major chunk. Now, Akbar is Akbar because he followed certain policies. And the two most known policies, generally considered very important, is one is called religious policy and the other one is called Rajput policy. We'll first discuss Rajput because Rajput is a very, very, very important policy which they followed. Now, these are very descriptive areas. They're quite descriptive areas. May be relevant for optional, may be relevant for mains level examination, but there are no mains questions. But you should know about the Rajput and religious policy other than the factual part, which I will tell you. So don't expect a very deep, certain rooted question with regards to this in the examination. But basic factual things I have in the PPT also, but you need to understand the policy in order to understand Mughal Empire better. So let's start with Rajput policy. Now, when we talk about the Rajput policy, very simply, Rajput policy is based on the idea. What did Jahangir and Shah Jahan did change in Mansabdari? That whole Ekaspa, Duaspa, Shiaspa thing. Now, when we talk about Rajput policy, the Akbar, when he came to power, he had to be first dependent on Bairam Khan and Mahamanga. He eliminated both. Throughout his rule, he had Mirza Hakim, his half brother, kept on rebelling. He was also eliminated. And the problem with Akbar's basic strategy was that he could never trust his nobility. Uzbeks were there, not trustworthy. Irani, not trustworthy. Turani, not trustworthy. He had Afghans, again not trustworthy. The problem is Akbar cannot trust his nobility too much. And for an empire to be stable, you have to trust the nobility properly. Further, Akbar has one more issue. And that issue is that he has to deal with the Rajputs. In the Rajasthan sector, after Medni Rai was defeated, the Rajputs again came about because Sher Shah Suri was the first one to engage with them properly. But between Babur and Humayun, the Rajputs were back. And Sher Shah Suri was the first one who developed a very interesting strategy. Humayun and Babur did not have a very specific strategy about the Rajputs. Who helps them, who does not help them, does not help them. For example, Akbar born at Amarkot, a Rajput helped Humayun, he was very happy about it. A proper strategy was followed by Sher Shah Suri, and Sher Shah Suri understood one thing and realized one thing. What he realized was that fighting the Rajputs is difficult, but making them friends is easier. And basically, there are 4 forts. If they are breached, then the Rajputs are exposed. One is Ranthambore, the other one is called Chittor, then it's called Merta and Kalinjar. Kalinjar. These are 4 forts which are based on 4 places. Ranthambore, Chittor, Merta and Kalinjar. If you break these 4 or breach these 4, Ranthambore being the hardest to break, then you more or less can make the Rajputs agree to things. Sher Shah Suri said that there's no point fighting each one of them. Jodhpur, Jaipur, different, Merta, Mewar, differently. No. Rather, show them your power and make them accept your suzerainty. Make them accept your suzerainty. What does suzerainty mean? What does suzerainty mean? Suzerainty means overlordship or having indirect control over them, meaning keep them autonomous. Feudatory relationship, feudatory politics is based on sovereignty or suzerainty. Is based on suzerainty. And therefore, he said, I am better off doing it than actually engaging with the Rajputs that much. And for the same reason, Babur had no specific policy. Rana Saga, Mernira he defeated, but he also married Humayun to one of the Rajput princes. Humayun continued this basic point. If you're a friend, if Sher Shah was the one who wanted to bring Rajputs under his suzerainty. In 1544, he attacked Marwar and succeeded in capturing a large part of it. Then Ranthambore was captured by him, and later Mewar, Jaipur accepted his suzerainty, and he was also able to capture Kalinjar. He is the first one who realized that it is better to befriend the Rajputs than to annex them. But Akbar took it one step forward and actually made it into a proper policy. Can we discuss Akbar's Rajput policy as followed by him, his Jahangir and Shah Jahan? Yes? Okay. Now, Akbar had a 3-step policy. Akbar had a 3-step policy. See, the first thing was that Akbar knew about the loyalty of the Rajputs. Akbar knew that if Rajputs come on his side, he would be better off than actually thinking about the Turanis, Iranis, and these people. And rather, he would be better off befriending the Rajputs, and that is credit to the Rajputs that nobody really wanted to engage with them too much. So the first step was show of power. Was the show of power. What does this mean? Show of power means that Akbar captured Merta, Kalinjar, Ranthambore, and the last one was Chittor. So therefore, Akbar has actively shown, and I'm telling you the theoretical part. I have the sequence also, so don't worry. I'll have an example for you also ready. Now, Akbar therefore showed to the Rajputs that, see, these are the 4 forts which you think are very unbreachable. Which are unbreachable. So he's showing power by capturing Kalinjar, Ranthambore, Chittor and Merta. And he now has shown to all the Rajputs and Rajput Confederacy that if he wants, he can destroy anyone. If he wants, he can destroy anyone. But what is the disadvantage of war? What is the biggest disadvantage of war? Economic. Too much money, too much expenditure. And if Akbar keeps on fighting with the Rajputs, he will drain his economy. So now comes step 2. Step 2 is the most interesting one. Akbar offered every Rajput king not to fight but accept the suzerainty of Akbar in return. Akbar will employ or give employment to the king and his relatives in the bureaucracy or mansabdari system. And the concept was Akbar takes the kingdom and sovereignty and allocates the kingdom back as a Vatan Jagir. Basically, what he's doing is that if this is your kingdom, and you are the sovereign. Sovereign means what? Do you have both internal, external freedom or only internal, only external? You have both. Akbar says that let's do one thing. I'll take this kingdom from you. I will make you a Mansabdar Jagirdar. And I will give you the exact kingdom back as a Vatan Jagir. Are Jagirs hereditary? No. But Vatan Jagirs are permanent, hereditary, and non-transferable. More than that, Akbar or no Mughal will play any role or not meddle into internal politics of the kingdom or Vatan Jagir. The Rajputs, whoever they decide, is going to be the next ruler. Akbar or Jahangir or Shah Jahan will accept it. It is on the ruler to decide who is the next successor or who should be given the next Watan Jagir. Basically, this solves two problems for Akbar. First, it becomes a part of the empire. He does not have to fight. He does not have to get resistance. Second, which is more interesting, is does anything change for the people on the ground? For a shopkeeper, for a washerman, for a woman who's in this kingdom, does anything change? Basically nothing. Because the king was the king. Now he's a Mansabdar Jagirdar. The king used to collect tax. He still collects a tax. The king used to do what he used to do. He's still doing the same thing. But if the nothing changes, will there be resistance? Will there be resistance? Again, the answer is no. So therefore, what has Akbar made sure by doing this? What has Akbar made sure by doing this? Akbar has, in a way, made sure that the empire remains stable. Because if he takes this area, he appoints a Jagirdar Mansabdar, most probably is a Muslim, then the people will resist, the people will fight, there will be instability, every Rajput will do something, there will be this will be that, all drama will happen. So rather, he's taken one stone and killed two birds. One, he does not have to capture the Rajput. Second, he does not have to also basically actively rule this area. Every once a year, the king has to, or the Mansabdar Jagirdar has to come to Delhi or to Agra and give a peshkash. Give a peshkash so as to show your loyalty. That's it. Like the Nayankara system. Like the Nayankara system, you give us a certain tribute to Akbar and it's okay. Now, Akbar also, do we understand Watan Jagir? Do we understand the premise of Watan Jagir? Because he's also offering two more things with this. Okay. Now, Akbar also said one thing. He said, you have cousins, you have sons, you also have your relatives. I would be happy to employ your soldiers in the Mughal army and your sons' relatives as Mansabdars who are close to me. So basically, what he's doing is he's creating a small circle around him of Rajputs. And Man Singh, Todarmal, Bhagwan Das, three most trusted nobles of Akbar were not actually anyone else but Rajputs. More than that, he also said one more thing. It was not compulsory. It was not something which was considered to be done for sure. It was not mandatory. Akbar said that I understand that by accepting my overlordship, other Rajputs may boycott you. When they will boycott you, they will not allow your daughters to get married within Rajputs. So if you want, I am ready to marry your daughters. Matrimonial alliance I will go into. I will not ask the women to change their religion. I will not ask them to accept Islam. I will not ask them to become a part of any Islamic ritual. I will give them their space. I will give them their mandirs and temples wherever they need it. It is a pure political transaction so that you are not socially boycotted by any other Rajput. And this is not compulsory, your voluntary idea. This is where Akbar had a very deep understanding of Indian rituals. He knew the consequences of what he was doing, and he gave a solution for everything. By doing this, more or less, it was a win-win situation for everyone. Rajputs don't have to fight, don't have to die, and don't have to basically go into conflict. They get their watan back as a watan jagir. They do what they want to do. Their sons get employment as jagirdar mansabdars, so they will also get some money. Their daughters, if boycotted by other social communities, can also marry to Akbar, the emperor of India. Over and above that, except for Mewar, Maharana Pratap, more or less all Rajputs accepted this, and in a way brings in the third step policy. The third step was, if you do not accept anything, then be ready to fight, which Mewar did. Are you understanding the master stroke of Akbar? And why Akbar is Akbar? Because what he's done is he's actually eliminated all forms of issues in the empire. Akbar was the first Mughal emperor who followed a proper policy towards the Rajputs. He desired to bring them under his control, but not through conquest, but through suzerainty. Akbar was impressed by the chivalry, faithfulness, dareness, the fighting skills of the Rajput. He preferred to befriend them instead of turning them into enemies. He wanted dependable allies from amongst the Indian people instead of depending on the foreigners. Afghans, relatives, Mirzas, everybody had already betrayed Akbar. Akbar wanted somebody who he could trust. And between Akbar, Jahangir, and Shah Jahan, what is common is Rajputs became a central pillar of the Mughal Empire. One was Mansabdari, the other one was Rajputs. Aurangzeb, that fool, what he did was he internally played politics in the Rathod Rajputs, and once he decided who will become the ruler in the Rathod Rajputs realized that he has abandoned his forefathers' strategy and concept of not intervening, and that is why Aurangzeb never had Rajput support, and Rajputs left Aurangzeb. And it is not a coincidence that Aurangzeb struggled throughout his rule, and after that also Mughal started to decline. In a way, Akbar created a pillar which kept the Mughal Empire alive for a very long time. And that is why Mughal rule in a way was also based on Rajput rule. And in a way, that is why Mughal Empire, when I will show you the architecture, the art, had a strong Rajput influence. Therefore, whilst people tend to talk about the WhatsApp University graduates, tend to talk about, for example, as Mughals as othering, that other Mughal. The point is, Mughal rule was actually based on Rajput support only. If Rajputs had not supported Akbar or Jahangir or Shah Jahan, Mughals never had a proper nobility in that regard. And in that sense, Akbar was the pioneer to develop a very interesting strategy, the three-step concept. First, capture the Chittor, Merta, Ranthambore, and Kalinjar, weaken the power of the Rajputs to resist. The Rajput ruler who either accepted his sovereignty or entered into matrimonial alliance with him voluntarily were left masters of their kingdoms. They were given high offices in the state, and there was no interference in the administration. They were, however, asked to pay annual tribute to the emperor. Those Rajput rulers who opposed him were attacked, and efforts were made to make them accept sovereignty. Mewar is a very good example of this. In a way, yes, in a way, Shah Jahan was a son of a Rajput princess only. So, in a way, yes. If you look at it, Shah Jahan, even Dara Shikoh, later killed by Aurangzeb, was the son of a Rajput princess only. So, in that regard, quite interesting that how much actually the Mughals were Indian, were indigenous or were Rajputs in that regard. Akbar was born at Amarkot. Akbar was born at Amarkot. Jahangir was married and Akbar was married. The two most important daughter-in-laws or wives were Rajputs, and Shah Jahan was born to a Rajput princess itself. So, in a way, Mughals are nothing without Rajputs in that regard. This is a point which mostly people don't understand. And if you understand this, I would like to give you an example. You don't have to learn it. I want to show you how it actually happened. Can I do that? Medieval is very complex in all dimensions. No, it isn't. It's very easy. You did not expect medieval to be technical. That expectation I understand, because WhatsApp University, popular culture, medieval, this, that. You didn't expect that Akbar would give a farmer 4 options. You didn't expect that he had a very sophisticated, what we call as administration. You didn't expect sophistication from the Mughal Empire. You didn't expect sophistication from the Delhi Sultanate, that basically they were the ones who saved us from the Mongols. So your perception is Akbar, Jahangir, this, that, Flana Damkana, and their political history. And you're only told about an aspect which is part of Mughal Empire, but is not the only aspect. In that sense, we actually fall into the trap of the British, because the British documented that and made it very evident, and so as to show that two communities could never stay together, divide and rule policy. So medieval India is that way. This is not even the tip of the iceberg. If you actually go into Mughal administration, start to read Aine Akbari, you will realize how actually Mughal Empire was very complex. And that is why for a very long time, the British did not even touch the Mughal Empire administration. From Diwani to Nizamat to their sovereignty, to Amil, to Faujdar, to the judicial system, to the revenue administration, quite sophisticated. Ironically, the last time India had a good revenue administration, it was under the Mughals. Because permanent settlement, the Royatwari and Mahalwari destroyed everything. So unfortunately, there is a lot of misinformation. And unfortunately, that is how we live today. So that's the point. Okay. Now let's see how things actually happened. For example, see, in 1562, I'm just giving you a basic example. In 1562, the fort of Merta was captured under Jaimal, a feudatory of Mewar. In 1568, Chittor was snatched away from Mewar. In 1569, Raja Surjan Rai was forced to surrender Ranthambore. Then Raja Ramchandra voluntarily surrendered Kalinjar to Akbar. So all 4 forts are gone. Thereafter, among the rulers who voluntarily accepted the sovereignty, the first one is Raja Bharmal of Amer, which is Jaipur. He met Akbar in 1562 and accepted his sovereignty and married him his daughter. This same daughter is actually Harka Bai, is not Jodha Bai, is Harka Bai. Harka Bai is going to, this very princess gave birth to Salim, who is Jahangir, and Akbar gave very big high mansabs to Raja Bharmal's son Bhagwan Das and his grandson Man Singh. The only 2 officers in the Mughal Empire to ever have a 7,000 mansab, the highest possible, were Bhagwan Das and Man Singh. Man Singh was the most important general of Akbar, and he was later made the governor. His Jagir used to fully was whole of Punjab sector. That is the level of dependence which Akbar developed on the Rajputs itself. After the fall of the forts of Chittor, some Rajput states such as Bikaner and Jaisalmer voluntarily accepted Akbar, while some of them went into matrimonial alliances. The only one which was fighting was Mewar. After Battle of Haldigati, some of the Rajputs such as Banswara, Bundi and Orcha also accepted Akbar, because Maharana Pratap was not able to resist. He never got captured, but he resisted the Mughal rule for a very long time. But the more he resisted, the Rajputs realized that they have no other option but to accept Akbar's suzerainty in that regard, or overlordship. This policy will be taken forward by everybody, which is Shah Jahan and Jahangir and Shah Jahan. But Aurangzeb will play a game with it. Akbar, through doing this, got loyal allies, and he also got relatives, in the sense that with matrimonial alliances he could develop trust. The only state which refused to submit to Mewar was the Sisodias under Mewar, which is Maharana Pratap. Due to the Rajput policy, Rajputs started to become more and more integrated in the Mughal Empire, and this helped expand and strengthen the Mughal Empire generally. Over and above that, Mewar will be later also captured. Akbar neither forced any Rajput ruler to enter matrimonial alliance with him, nor asked princesses to accept Islam before marrying him. Besides, he honored all his wives and allowed them to follow their own religion and relatives, and everything was kept that way, perfectly fine for them, which, though shown in the wrong context of Jodha, but in that movie, that part is shown properly, which is how Harkha Bai was actually honored by Akbar, and she was the mother of Jahangir. Jahangir being the next ruler of the empire. Shah Jahan also, ironically, being the Shah Jahan is the son of Jodha Bai in that regard. Right? Clear? Everyone. Both of them followed the same policy. Aurangzeb is the one who's a fool who basically played a role in the Rathod politics. Can we discuss religious policy now? What do you need to remember? You just need to remember the basics, which is what is the Rajput policy. We've not got a question. It is, you should know it. It's, I told you, it's a theoretical area. Can I move to now? Religious policy. Okay. Right. This means Salim is not the son of Jodha. He's the son of Harkha. Okay. इतने सब से यही निकला ना. Very good. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about tomorrow's class timing 9 to 12, 1 to 4. Now, it's not a negotiation, I'm telling you. You can see it in your dashboard also. Okay. Now, the second thing which Akbar is known for, can you make the family tree? No. I don't need to. I don't need to learn that, and I don't care about it also. What about weekend batch? You do weekend batch, you watch the recording later. Do you need to remember the names of the Rajputs? Man Singh and Bhagwan Das, you should remember their names at least. Okay. Now, Nikita, then who was Jodha? Good question. Daughter-in-law of Akbar. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'll mute myself once. You should not be listening to me sneezing. 1 second. Okay. Now, see, Akbar, second thing which he's known for, and that he's known for very well vis-a-vis his great grandson, Aurangzeb, is his religious policy. Now, Akbar first is known to remove jizya. Rather, first what he did was, he stopped the practice of converting every prisoner of war into Islam. He said that if you're a prisoner of war, you become a slave, you don't have to give up your religion. First thing he did that. Then Akbar stopped taking jizya from the people under the influence of the Rajputs. He said that I will not take any protection money in that regard from the non-Muslim population, no jizya. Then he also removed what is called as the pilgrimage tax. Pilgrimage tax is that if you're going to any pilgrimage, you have to pay a tax. That is also not there. But Akbar, real change happens because of his new city, which is called Fatehpur Sikri. After winning Gujarat, he actually established a city called Fatehpur Sikri. And in Fatehpur Sikri, he had a small chamber, which is called the Ibadat Khana. Now, Ibadat Khana was a private hall of Akbar and no one else. And in this private hall, Akbar had one simple point. Akbar had one very simple point. He wanted to know about Islam. He is an illiterate, does not know quite a lot. So he wants to know about Islam. He has some fundamental questions. So Mughals are Sunni Muslims. So he calls this Sunni ulema. Ulema, Maulvi, Mullah, or even what we call as Imam and all, same for your understanding. All are Qazi and all are all Muslim scholars as they're called. Now, basically, he calls the Sunni ulemas and he tells them to sit in front of him and he had certain questions. So now Akbar says to the Sunni ulema, what is Islam? So they give him a certain answer. Shia Sunni is based on which caliphate they followed. The conflict between Ali and the Muwayya, and it's based on the Battle of Karbala and all. Don't have to go into that. The Muharram festival basically celebrates that battle, in which the followers of Ali were defeated by the Umayyad Caliphate or the Muwayya followers, and therefore Shias and Sunnis exist. Again, too complicated for you, leave it. Muwayya and Ali conflict is actually the concept of Shia Sunni. Till that point, everybody accepted, till Abu Bakr, everybody accepted the same Khalifa. Thereafter, there was issue. Again, too complicated for you to understand, but I'm still trying to give you certain words. So, Sunni Islamic scholars, he asked a very standard question, what is Islam? They gave a very vaguish answer. But then Akbar asked, for example, what is the meaning of religion? And what he saw was a spectacle in which one ulema started to fight with the other ulema, in which he said, you are wrong. He said, you are wrong. Happens, bring two pundits together, they will fight against each other. Ask them the same question and they will give you different answers. And this is what basically started to happen. What happens is that Akbar saw that these Sunni ulemas can't agree amongst themselves only. That, okay, till Quran they are fine, till Shariat they are fine. After that, on interpretation, they are fighting with each other. Proper shouting match is happening. So now Akbar got an idea. He said, if this is the case between Sunnis, let's do one thing. He said, bring the Sunni ulemas and bring the Shia ulemas also. And he made them sit in two different sides. He asked the same questions again, which is, what is the meaning of religion? What is the concept of religion? First, they fought amongst themselves. Then they started to fight intra. Shia scolding the Sunni, Sunni scolding the Shia. Now, Akbar thought that this is interesting. They all are talking about the same thing, but they are not ready to agree. So Akbar said, let's do one thing. Let's not just talk about Islam. He said, bring in the pundits, the best pundits of India, bring in the pundits. I want to see, or I want to understand, what is Hinduism. He has the same question. Some answer he got. And now Akbar could see a pattern. That every religion was saying the same thing, but in a different language. Now Akbar said, okay, Hindu come, bring the Buddhists. Then he brought the Jains. Then he brought the Jews. Then he brought the Christians. any religion other than Islam he could find on the road, he said, bring that person to Ibadat Khana. I want to ask him certain questions. Now, why is this Ibadat Khana shouting match, big boss type situation properly important? Because this in a way shaped Akbar's understanding of religion. And the product of the Ibadat Khana, you want to call it Kalesh, you want to call it debates, was that he developed a certain ideology. And that ideology is called Sul-e-Kul. Sul-e-Kul means peace amongst all, and more than that, people tend to argue that he started his own religion. Again, very crudish idea, but it is basically a sect. Or a small cult. It is called Deen-e-Ilahi. Deen-e-Ilahi. Some books mention it as a separate religion. They are technically incorrect, because guess how many people were following Deen-e-Ilahi? Total number of people who followed Deen-e-Ilahi, please guess. 26. And out of them, Man Singh and Bhagwan Das were also two of them. You could not convert to this religion. Akbar's small group, it was an exclusive group he developed, in which you were invited. You are not allowed to convert to it. It's not a religion, but as I said, because you never know what is the level of the examiner's understanding, go with religion. It's okay. But the simple point is, Sulekul is the ideology, and Deen-e-Ilahi is the cult he developed, or religion. Then why it's so famous? Who said it is famous? It is famous for Akbar. Akbar used it to, if only 26 people were following it. Who said it was famous? Where have you read that in numbers in India everybody became part of Deen-e-Ilahi? Deen-e-Ilahi is Akbar's understanding. Akbar uses Deen-e-Ilahi to develop his own understanding itself. So Deen-e-Ilahi was developed after Akbar had proper conversations in the Ibadat Khana. Why it is even mentioned in history? नहीं पढ़ते हैं, छोड़ देते हैं, leave it. Ashish is saying, what's the point of studying it if it only is followed by 26 people? Kyunki if your emperor follows something, you also follow it. Get it? क्या जरूरत है पढ़ने की? Leave it. पूरा मुगल ही छोड़ देते हैं, better. Ashish, if Akbar's understanding is dictated by Deen-e-Ilahi, then isn't it worth understanding how he applies it to day-to-day practices? हाँ या ना में बोलो. Yes or no? तो फिर बस. Now, as I said, Akbar's attitude towards religion is mostly assessed after 1560-65, and during this period he started to establish matrimonial alliances with the Rajputs, abolished pilgrimage tax, abolished jizya, and I have a whole sequence for you. This is very, very important for you. This is what comes in the examination. They can ask you to put them in chronological order, which is when did he stop the practice of converting prisoners of war into Islam, pilgrimage tax, jizya, ibadat khana. This I have to discuss with you. It's called mazhar. I'll come to that. Now, in the Ibadat Khana, it was established to have free discussion on Islamic theology, but the emperor got disillusioned and then opened it after 1578 for everybody, even Brahmins, Shias, Jains, Christians, and Parsis. And based on this, he was able to develop a certain understanding. And that understanding is called Deen-e-Ilahi. In 1582, he developed a religious doctrine or cult, which was based on mysticism. Now, if you look, these two are connected to each other. If you look at these two, now I'm going to tell you the principles of Deen-e-Ilahi, which he used to follow. Under Deen-e-Ilahi, lust, sensuality, slander, pride are considered to be sins. Piety, abstinence, kindness are core virtues. And celibacy and slaughter of animals was forbade. In this whole thing, can you see the imprints of different religions in what he used to follow along with his 26 followers? From Jainism, he's taken the sin concept. From Buddhism, he's taken the concepts of piety, prudence. From Hinduism, he's taken the concept of forbidding slaughter of animals. Celibacy, again Jainism. And if you look at it, he used to do sun worship, which is again Hinduism. He is known to have shaved his head off when two of his relatives had died. Who shaves their head off when relatives die? In which religion do you do that? Again in Hinduism. And therefore, what Akbar started to do was to develop a hybrid religious concept. And that is very simply what Deen-e-Ilahi was. A hybrid religion which he developed, which he followed, did not push it to anybody. Now, do you understand what is Tawhid-e-Ilahi or Deen-e-Ilahi and Sulekul and Ibadat Khana? Do you understand it? Deen-e-Ilahi means that we are the men of Allah, and therefore we are the deens of Allah. We are the servants of God in that regard. Sulekul is the larger concept, ideology. Deen-e-Ilahi is a smaller concept. All of this comes under Sulekul. Can I discuss the other aspect related to it? Are we all on the same page? Did Akbar follow celibacy? Obviously not. But they encouraged it. If Akbar becomes celibate, who will take the Mughal empire forward? Okay, now, सब बोलने की बातें हैं. These are big things they're talking about. It's a elite group of people talking about big things. Now, if you are a Muslim ulema, please summarize whole religion policy in one slide. Aditya, आंखें खोलो, screen की तरफ देखो. देखो ये है summary. This is the summary of religious policy. ठीक है? Now, first let me finish it, then I will give you summary. Listen to me. Yes. Now, if you are a Muslim ulema, would you like what Akbar is doing? Obviously no. So what happened was that as soon as Deen-e-Ilahi was developed by Akbar, he started to get fatwas. Fatwas are orders. Different ulema started to write, Akbar is a non-Muslim. Akbar has given up Islam. You have to destroy Akbar. Akbar is bad. Standard things. And what happened was the fatwa was issued. Next day that Imam was not found. Because at the end of the day, you are talking about Mughal Emperor Akbar. If you do something against Akbar, you're not, fatwa to a standard person may be dangerous. That is the Mughal Emperor you're talking about. His pieces were found in different parts of the world. But the basic point is, fatwas were issued in numbers. But mostly Akbar didn't care, and if he cared too much, they would not be found next day itself. Now, Akbar saw that these Sunni ulemas are a problem. That these Sunni ulemas are a problem. So what he did was, he said that let me destroy their power properly. And in that, he developed two things. One is called the infallibility decree. And another thing which was related to it is called mazhar. Now, under mazhar, Akbar said that I am Imam Adil. I am Imam Adil. And therefore, if there is any dispute between Shias and Sunnis, Sunni, Shia, Shia, I am the ultimate interpreter of Islam. Meaning, if there's any question, nobody will go to this ulema, this useless Imam Adil. They will come to me. And Akbar basically is not following Sharia properly. He is following Sulekul. So the ulema saw this as a way of Akbar taking away power from the ulemas. Wherein he is now making sure that religious discord amongst Muslims stop. So first thing he does is he develops his own Deen Ilahi, and now he's removing the internal discord amongst Muslims. But the real slap on the face of the ulemas who were giving fatwa against him is this infallibility decree. Akbar claimed under it, and nobody can dispute it. And that is why Akbar is Akbar. Fatwa means an order. Akbar claimed in it that I am both your political and spiritual leader. Though he did not say it, what was he calling himself in a way? In Islam, who is considered the political and religious leader of Muslims? Khalifa. He is basically calling himself a Khalifa. And therefore, he now is saying, I am the most pious Muslim. I am the leader of all Muslims in India, whilst actively not following Islam. And what he started to do was, he used to did not know how to read, only learned one line, in which he used to go to the mosque and used to read the khutbah. Khutbah is basically before any prayer starts, khutbah is read. In the khutbah, he used to say, I am not reading this in the name of some Khalifa, reading in the name of Akbar. Reading in the name of Akbar. So basically, through his religious policy, what he's done, he's literally destroyed the backbone of the orthodox Muslim elements of the Mughal Empire. So basically, if I have to summarize what he did, it is here that he abolished jizya, infallibility decree, Deen Ilahi, this and that. But Akbar's policy was very simple. Sulekul, Deen Ilahi out of Ibadat Khana. Mazhar call himself as the Imam Adil, that I am the ultimate interpreter. And infallibility decree says that I am the most pious Muslim whilst not following Islam only. Make sense? Make sense? Again, you can see, except for this slide, no question can be made. It's quite theoretical. That's the basic point. If this is clear, I want to discuss about Aurangzeb and then we can break for today. Okay. If people didn't follow his new sect, why will people listen to him? Because he's the emperor. See, problem is that you don't understand the importance of that position. Emperor is emperor. मजाक नहीं हो रहा है. Akbar is Mughal emperor. People don't. Akbar says something, it happens. Alauddin Khilji says something, it happens. Shah Jahan says that I just want to see marble, it happens. अब वो कहां से आएगा marble is not your problem or not his problem. If the government says go and change your 1,000 rupee note and 500 rupee note, then it is not the government's problem. How will you go to the bank? So when the head of state says something, when an emperor says something, then simply you have to. Then people should have followed Deen Ilahi. But Akbar is not dumb. Akbar is not trying to convert people to Deen Ilahi. So Ashish, you started with asking me why should people not convert to Deen Ilahi? To now understanding it's अच्छा है. So you are saying that why not everybody should follow Deen Ilahi? So there's a contradiction in your change your stance within 20 minutes. True to be an Indian, but the basic point is that is not how it works. Akbar has no intention of converting people to Deen Ilahi because Deen Ilahi is not a religion. But unfortunately, some people have written in a book it is a religion. That is why people call it a religion. It's a small cultic practices within a 26 people group for which was not open to everybody. Akbar is not dumb. Nobody in India was ever so dumb to convert the whole population. No Muslim ruler, no Muslim emperor, no Delhi Sultanate, neither Mughal, neither Sayyid, nor Lodi, neither the British ever had a plan to convert every person in India into a Christian or a Muslim, because that would be the dumbest thing you could ever do, because that would destroy your empire within a second. Within a second, it would destroy your empire. As much as you have read certain things, you are exposed to certain things, you would have known certain things, you have your own knowledge. I don't trust that knowledge because it is coming from a certain place. Sir, it is not mandatory to convert, right? Obviously, you can't convert 8 crore people to a religion. That is what the Portuguese used to do. That is what the Spanish used to do. That is what is called the Inquisition. That is what these Europeans are known for. But the British were not dumb to come to India and say, now let's convert everybody to Islam, to Christianity. Alfonso de Albuquerque tried to do it in Goa. They were not able to do it properly. Can we talk about Aurangzeb? Yes? Okay. Now I told you that I'll come back to Aurangzeb and his religious policy. And Aurangzeb's religious policy is based on a certain chain of events which happened. Tomorrow when we meet at 9, we'll talk about Mughal decline. I'll decline the Mughals, we'll talk about then Marathas and Sikhs, and also start Bhakti. And by the second class, we'll be doing Bhakti Sufi properly. That is basically art and culture only. Now, when we talk about Aurangzeb is a fool. As much as he is a bigot, he has a problem. See, his father, Shah Jahan, is an overspender. He basically, Shah Jahan knows how to waste money. Shah Jahan actually knows how to waste money. Now, whilst Shah Jahan knows how to waste money, Aurangzeb inherits a bankrupted empire. At the same point of time, he does a foolishness of playing with the Rathod Rajputs. As soon as he, in his foolishness, plays with the internal politics of the Rathod Rajputs, he's done a mistake. And the mistake is that the Rajputs will abandon him. Can you run an empire without a constituency of people supporting you? Rathod are there. Rathod still today exist. Rathod Rajputs. Can you, why Rathod, why Rajputs abandoned him? Because he reversed the policy of what his forefathers did, which is not to meddle into internal succession politics of Rajputs. He played that. Now, Aurangzeb needs support. Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, what is common to them is that they all hated ulemas. They kept these ulemas down, but these ulemas are strong. So Aurangzeb has no other option but to go to these ulemas that I need money, I need support. So he goes to the orthodox faction of Islamic jurisprudence and scholarship to become his backbone. And the consequent impact is that Aurangzeb has to now project himself as a certain personality. Aurangzeb now projects himself as a staunch Muslim, no intoxication, anything in public sphere. Muttashibs are now roaming the streets. All the festivals which Akbar brought in, Holi, Diwali, Ravros, which used to happen in the court itself, removed. Dancing, singing not allowed within Islam, removed. All painters removed. All forms of art and culture removed. Why? Because he's trying to appease the ulemas to show to him, देखो मैं तो हूं, I am a staunch Muslim, I am a staunch Muslim, I am a staunch Muslim, support me. He will start to reconstruct mosques. He will bring on payroll a lot of ulemas. Basically, yes, Aurangzeb is a bigot. Yes, Aurangzeb is the exact opposite of Akbar. Yes, Aurangzeb destroyed temples. Yes, Aurangzeb is a problem. But please understand this point that Aurangzeb's this stance changes because he's in a pickle. He's in a problem. And that problem is Rajputs are not there, money is not there, and he needs constituency, support. Aurangzeb will obviously be Sunni only. Na? If Sunni fathers are Sunnis, he will also be a Sunni. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? I am not justifying or sanitizing his image. I'm just doing one thing. As a historian, I'm telling you the context in which he changed his policy. From Navroz to Kalma to Old Mosque to this Muntakshibs or to the ceremonies removed. You tell me, this one. Is this a religious policy or is this a economic policy? Every emperor, twice in the year, according to lunar and solar calendar, was weighed against gold and silver, and he was on his birthday, it was distributed amongst people. This he stopped because it's a Hindu practice. This he stopped because he had no money. Gold and silver बांटेगा तो जिएगा कैसे? If he's actually going to distribute gold and silver twice a year, and he would be 60-70 kgs for sure, 70-80 kgs of silver and gold twice a year. Do you really think he can sustain that? That is the problem. More. Now you tell me one more thing. People say he brought back jizya. Jizya was brought back by Shah Jahan also. Jizya was in between brought back by Jahangir also. But he brings in jizya. He's already fighting literally in the Deccan for 6 years. Deccan policy is literally bankrupting the Mughals. Jizya is brought back because it is a religious stance or it's an economic religious stance. It's an economic religious stance because jizya with a very big non-Muslim population could generate a lot of revenue. And ironically, when tomorrow I'll tell you Mughal decline, ironically, everything which he will do to solve the economic crisis will make sure that his empire gets even more messed up. And that is why what my argument is to you is Aurangzeb, yes, is what he is. But Mughal decline cannot be just one man becoming a staunch Muslim, because Sikandar Lodi was also, Ibrahim Lodi was also, Aurangzeb is also, rulers before him are also. Aurangzeb's unfortunate fate was his father was Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan literally had wasted so much money that he had no idea where to start and stop. So tomorrow when we meet, we decline the Mughals, complete the main timeline. In between this timeline, we have to discuss Marathas and the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, his administration, Chaut Sar Deshmukhi, and basic ideas, and Sikhs, Gurus, and Sikh the concept of Khalsa. And from 9 to 12 and 1 to 4, we'll discuss this. And I will then start the last unit of medieval, which is also the first unit of art and culture, which is Bhakti and Sufi. Done? Perfect. So I see you tomorrow. Thank you. I hope till this point everything is perfectly fine. Mansabdari, Rajput policy, religious policy, and revenue administration. Yes? Perfect. See you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye. If you can't come, watch the video recorded later.